If you've ever been exposed to the world of speedrunning, then you should know that video games are fragile and easily exploited. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, just see for yourself. Yeah, easily exploited. Now, when I recently released my own kart racing game, I had no idea how far my viewers are going to take it. But what you guys accomplished completely shocked me. But to start this story, I have to go back to when I very first started making the game. After opening up to a blank scene, I first had to think of the type of game that I wanted to make. I already knew that I wanted to make a three-dimensional game, and I eventually decided that I wanted to make a kart racing game, because those are the only types of 3D games I've made so far, and I thought it would be pretty easy. I'm also a big fan of Mario Kart time trials, so I thought it would be cool to make a game like that. Now, you might would expect me to start working on the kart driving physics or the scene building, but first, I wanted to start making a shader for the game. Now, shaders are pretty much what can make boring games look not boring. For example, do you see those boring looking shapes? Well, with a simple shader, you can make those look light and cartoony, instantly improving the game's look and feel. After getting the shader working, I decided that now would be a good time to get a 3D car model into the scene and get it looking cartoony like the rest of the game. Now, because I don't do art, I decided that I needed to look where all beginner game developers look, Kenny's Game Assets. I found this car model, imported it into the scene, and gave it the cartoon shader, and now it's looking pretty good. The next step to getting this game working would be to give the car some movement. Now, I've been playing a game on my phone recently, which is a strange mesh between a survival game and a drift game. The movement feels so smooth and satisfying that I wanted to make my movement similar to that. So, after a few Unity tutorials and a lot of small variable tweaks, I finally got the movement working how I wanted it to. In hindsight, this movement was way too slippery, but it ended up adding to the game's difficulty. After that, I decided that the car movement didn't look very satisfying. It was missing something crucial to make this look very good, which is drifting smoke. To get this into the game, I created a Unity particle system object with these very simple clouds and got them to spawn under the car when it was drifting. But how do you define drifting? Well, I decided that the car was drifting when the angle of the car was turned far enough away from the angle at which it was driving. After putting that in, the player movement looks very satisfying. Next, I needed to start working on the world building of the game, because currently the car is just chilling out on top of a floating square. That's why I went back to Kenny's Game Assets page and downloaded his racing kit. This kit is amazing because it comes with all the materials that you need along with the proper hitboxes that they should have, which saves me a lot of time in the long run. So, I started by importing some of the assets from the pack and just began messing around with it and trying to get all the collisions working nicely, which as you can see was working pretty great. So far, this project was going along smoothly. I'm sure nothing bad will happen in the future. Next, I followed a very short and simple tutorial, which allowed me to get some camera movement in the game super easily. After getting that working, I spent a lot of time trying to get the car to actually rotate correctly. See, the issue is that the collider for the car is a sideways cylinder. This meant that if I wanted the car to have full rotation and be able to go up and down slopes, then I would have to figure out a way to solve the issue of the car rotating on the other axes as well. I tried a lot of things over many hours of work, and eventually as I started working on other things, it kinda just fixed itself, so I was fine with that. And now you can peacefully go up and down slopes. Unfortunately, after fixing the issue of slopes, there became the new issue of the car being able to be flipped straight up and kinda go up like a rocket ship, but an easy fix was to give the car more weight, and now it doesn't fly away. Next up, I finished the track, but there are currently no decorations around the track, which I promise will change soon, but before that I wanted to get the game fully working. So I placed a starting gate and 6 other checkpoints around the map, and got those working how I wanted them to. Now, in other time trial racing games that I've played, they sometimes make the checkpoints work in any order as long as you start and end at the finish line, so I decided to program my game in that way. I didn't know it at the time, but this would cause my viewers to beat the game faster than I had ever imagined. But before getting into that, I added in some scenery around the track to actually make it look good, and also add obstacles so you can't just drive wherever you want without a challenge. Next up, I added a timer at the top left, and then also saved the best lap and previous lap on the top left of the screen. I also did some quality of life improvements to the game, like adding in a press R to restart, and also giving the game a pause menu and main menu, and the game is finished. After finishing the webpage for the game, I sent it to the Discord and felt good about it, and I called the game Ultimate Kart because I couldn't think of anything else. Now the only thing left to do is to set a personal record. Now, I wasn't sure if all my viewers are going to think of it, but it is significantly faster to race the track backwards than forwards because of how the checkpoints are set up. So I set a respectable time of 29 seconds and then challenged my viewers to beat it. I mean, I think my run is pretty well optimized, so I didn't expect anyone to beat it, but we'll just have to wait and see. Well, I did wait, and I did see. Enter Danya. He joined my Discord server on November 14th and immediately started running Ultimate Kart. He sent in a respectable time after about half an hour of runs, but I wasn't really worried to be honest because I already improved my time to a 28:47. But what he did next shocked me. Everyone, including Danya, initially thought that backwards was the most optimal path to race the track. But instead of continuing this, Danya engineered a new way around the track. Instead of going straight backwards like one would think, he took this path. After a bunch of trading better and better times using this new strategy, eventually Danya pulled ahead and I couldn't beat him anymore. Nobody could. Here are the final best times from both of us. I am shocked by how closely this game has been pushed to its limits, and I want to give a big thank you to Danya and all my other viewers for playing my game and being some good competition to me, even though it's a little sad that I lost to someone at literally my own game. If you want to try out the game for yourself, the link to the game page is in the description of the video, so please check it out.
If you like this video and want to see more like it, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel because it really does help me out. And also consider joining the Discord channel in the description of the video if you want to join our community. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.